All right, I think we're ready to roll. So thank you all for coming. I know a Thursday at 4 p.m. This is a tough time slot, so thank you for bearing with us here. My name is Jamie Lewis-Gross. I am the VP of Americas for Saviynt, responsible for our solution engineering team. And I am very pleased to have with me today Bashira Bassett. She is going to be giving you all of the insights and views into creating a successful identity program for VF Corporation and how identity is critical to the success of VF Corp and how it connects people to lifestyle, activity, and experiences. So Bashira, if you wouldn't mind saying a few words.
Well, hello everybody. What I dedicate, they told me that. Okay, what a dedication to stay here at this hour. Thank you all for coming. I'm Bashira Bassett. I've been with VF Corporation for since I was 10 years old, for 22 years. So, how many here heard of VF Corp? Quite a few, and our brand speaks for itself.
Especially on my feet. Vans, you might be familiar with them.
Yeah, I was thrown into the identity space as a punishment. I don't know what I did for my CTO, but that's what I got. And it's been 5 years of tremendous experience. And I learned so much from VF. I learned so much from my partners. And I'm thrilled to be here.
Thank you.
Over.
Yeah. Do you want to cover any of the brands
before
I go?
So we're 12 brands in VF. We started with Wrangler and Lee. If you recall this brand, we have a spin-off that went over to Contour brand. And our major contributor, our major brands, of course, Vans and the North Face, Supreme and Dickies and Timberland. So there is a quiz after this presentation, so pay attention. Otherwise, you're not going to win a custom shoes.
Yes, there's a very good prize.
Make sure you listen to us. As you see here, with all the brands comes identity and comes trouble how we can identify the identity and how we're going to bring them into the VF Corporation. And that's what we struggled with from day one. We went the route of building our own identity. And we built the tool internal, and we used it for quite a bit. And then we went through different iteration, and we went to Oracle Identity Management. And now here we are with Saviynt. Click. As part of the process, we had to, when the identity was introduced in VF, it was to achieve a compliance finding. It was something that the security team had to put in. It had a specific purpose, specific control to serve. They didn't look at the vision, at what we're going to have in the future. With all these brands, we have different business process. We have different identity that doesn't tie to our internal control and doesn't tie to our corporate function. So we had to adjust, and we have to grow our business. We have to change the mindset, how it was done. Yeah. With the Oracle identity,
go ahead. I was just going to say, what really resonated with me is that you embraced identity convergence by bringing together modern identity, data security, and the business reality and the processes that you need to take into consideration. And in doing so, and you'll get to this, I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
But in doing this, certainly Bashir is going to talk about the agility gain, the nimbleness, the enhancements in security, and how moving from a monolithic legacy platform made it very, very accessible and successful. And even, she shared with me today, coming in ahead of their timeline. So when does that actually happen in identity? So please continue.
So again, when we took over, this is our vision, corporate vision, and we looked at it. It doesn't really have the active lifestyle. We were taking 6 weeks to 8 weeks just to onboard one application. We have about 800 applications that we have across the environment that is not in our portfolio. It's not in the identity, and we had to compile all this together. So we were looking at something very dynamic, it's easy to use, where we can turn it over maybe down the road, not today. Down the road, I want to turn it over to the customer where they can onboard their application. So we had to find that tool that's going to be very easy for us. And best thing, we have to keep the user experience. When we took over the identity, and I say we, I have my senior manager, Michael Considine, with me. It was mainly about the customer experience. Our CEO was involved every day on how bad the tool was. So that was a mission we had to do to improve the customer experience. Okay? So we had to bring back, when we started looking at the tool itself, we didn't know how our tool was built. It was managed by external vendor. We had multiple customers. We had specific objectives that we were looking into building within the tool itself. We did partner with external vendor to help us pick that solution. We had about 157 use cases that we know our current tool give us. Now, I have to remind you, the tool was heavily customized. There was no way anybody can come in and say, oh, we do this out of the box. So we went through, I think it was 6 to 8 months of evaluation of different vendors, including OIM. We didn't want to throw it away. We thought maybe we can reinvent what we have. It's a tool. Why can't we just upgrade and move on? Just keep in mind, it took us 2 years when we took over to upgrade to a supported version. So it was not very cumbersome. It didn't fit our need, and it didn't fit how agile we want to be. So we were looking specifically at something in the cloud, and OIM didn't fit that criteria at that point. We want to also expand it. At this point, we have GRC is completely outside of the identity. We have about 230 applications within the identity tool. We need to combine the two together, and we are looking for a tool that will be able to do that connection, easy connection between any application. We're looking for API, we're looking for direct connection, and to support our legacy system for the PKMS, where we are doing the distribution center, and we have to have that disconnected system. And those are mainly the main area that we were looking at. And of course, everybody loves compliance and security. We have to remain in compliance, and I have to keep those controls. How many is dealing here with completeness and accuracy of data? This is hell when you're going through migration and you have to implement that as well. So that, again, part of our deliverable that we kicked off back in May 2023. Okay, so we had those, we went through the evaluation. Like I said, we had a partner that helped us with that. Some vendors bailed out the minute they saw our use cases. So we looked at our use cases from all the customization we have, and we looked at Saviynt and other S-word product that we were looking at competition between them. And honestly, with all the customization that we have with Oracle, it came to 81%. And 85 from Saviynt that can come out of the box. I'm happy to tell you today, I'm 99% out of the box. We have almost one area that we customize. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michael. So one area that we had to do customization, but the remaining is out of the box. So even that 85% when we started, now it is at 99%. Okay? Go next.
And I think that point that you make is critical, because when we are talking with customers and developing a strategy, there is a look at customization and a tendency to want to recreate the customization in a new platform. And really, when we're consulting with our customers, we want them to understand that there's a whole refinement process. There's business process alignment and refinement. There's data accuracy, which Bashira talked about. And what certainly is very, very important that I feel that a lot of customers don't give enough consideration to is truly that user experience. Yeah. And they want to engage quickly in application onboarding, volumes of connectivity very quickly, which is all well and good. but really spend time on the user experience because you want to ensure that you get that momentum and buy-in quickly from the organization.
So I want to share some of the data points we have, and I'm going to show you just how, when we looked at our data, what we have, I told you we had a custom-built application for identity. Then we went to OIM, and now we're going to Saviynt. The tremendous data we have in both that we brought in from the original tool into OIM was a lot. So we had about, today in Saviynt, we have about 200,000 accounts. In the original tool that we had over 300,000 accounts that most of it was not used. We didn't know what we have. We didn't know who owns what. We tried our best for 4 years. We tried our best to find those owners, but you know how it is. We made a conscious decision that we don't want to bring anything in from our old tool into Saviynt. I want to go back to the application, pull the data from the application, and that will be my guiding principle for the future. And today, our identity, we have about 40,000 accounts. That's human account that we're supporting. Plus, we have our non-human account that's being loaded as we're going through the process today. Out of this 230 application, we also looked at, when we're delivering the project, we looked at, do we want to really bring all 230? What can we consolidate? What can we retire? What can we simplify? How can we simplify it? So those 230 applications, out of them, 54 applications were either consolidated or retired. So those cleanup we had to take into consideration, and we know this is going to improve our compliance, and it's going to improve our account ownership. We do certification every 6 months, and we used to do it every quarter, and we had every quarter some deficiency that I had to address. I'm happy to say, until now, for the past year, we didn't have any deficiency that I caused. Some other may have caused it. Our FSA, financial significant application, today we have 60 applications. Those applications fluctuate between the brands, and what happened with the brand, if they expand, if we consolidate, these accounts could go up to 75 accounts. The migration plan started back in May, and we were looking at having it ready by October 31st. I'm happy to tell you that we announced today to our management we're going to shut down our existing tool in June 30th. So we're ahead of schedule, and we're going to utilize the time we're going to do between June and October for some other enhancement that we didn't do during the migration. We know what they are. I want to integrate with our bot, with our AI, so that's one of the things we want to do. I want to go back to GRC, and I want to do that connectivity, so that's going to come also between that time frame. And there is other things that we have in the plan. We went with some connected application that we had to have. Workday, we were receiving how many files a day? 18 files every day that we had to process in the old tool. Today we are connected, and we have reduced that. All that finding that we used to have between Workday and the finger pointing, what we did and who's doing it, that's already eliminated. We did have one connection to AD in the past, and now we expanded that to Intra and AS400. So we can provision directly in AS400. We have potential for other application, and that's going to be between June and October timeframe. We're going to do that. Our technology stack, as of today, we do support under me and Michael. We have the Intra under us, Beyond the Trust, and Saviynt, and we have on-prem AD as part of our stack. Yeah.
All right. So I think I want to come back to something that Bashira mentioned, and that is opportunity. So because she was able to deliver the program on schedule, ahead of schedule, on budget, it creates that much more opportunity. So now she's able to take advantage of the platform and look at other areas of capabilities that are easily implementable. So there's something that we say within our organization, and it's configure once, enable anytime. And it gives you the opportunity to really start anywhere and go anywhere. And so now Bashir and her team really has the opportunity to look deeper into just-in-time and ephemeral access for users, integration with application GRC, more embedded intelligence through the use of the platform, and consuming data from adjacent technologies. So by doing so and delivering ahead of schedule, it then opens up all of this opportunity so that she is able to do more and more and more and really leverage the investment that's been made in the platform. So with that, we do have a case study from VF Corp. We have the code up here so that anyone who's interested in reading it in more detail. But we did want to give the opportunity, we're finishing a little bit early, to see if there are any questions that we may answer for you.
I have one thing to tell you when you're going through that migration. There is a few key factors that you have to keep in mind. You have to have a good plan, good requirement document. That was very difficult for us to do. You have to have a good partner that's going to help you to achieve your goals. And you have to have your leadership support. It made a world of difference for us because the application team does not report to our organization. To have the leadership enforcing it and telling them we have to deliver within a certain time frame, that was a key factor for us. And to have identity team who's hungry for success and they just want to remove everything, all the headache that they had before and move forward. They want to look for the future, and that's what. That keep in mind that when you are going for your next generation or your next iteration of identity.
So who wants to win a prize? Do you want to ask your question? This gentleman definitely wants to win a prize.
Sure.
Answered all the questions on the prize. So what was the deciding factor in knowing you needed to make a change from the original IAM system? Why change?
So I'm 100%. I love that question. The reason when they made the punishment and gave me the identity space, I said, how difficult would it be? It's a tool. You could make the tool do anything if you have the appropriate vision. And when we started looking at it, I honest to God don't know how they implemented this tool. We went through what they had, all the documentation they had. The tool was implemented with no VF oversight. It was done by the vendor and other team member that was other contractors that were involved in the project. So they had the mission just to pass compliance, but how it was done, it didn't matter. It had lots of dependency on Excel files. It has dependency on manual directory governance. We were doing certification manually. So that didn't fit the model. We tried to simplify it. We did the documentation. We looked at where we can improve that process and reduce the cost of the processing. And it took us 3 years, like I said, to do the simplification and the upgrade. I didn't want to deal with that. Today, I am at N-, I think, at N, I'm at 24.4. We started at 23.9, and we are at 24.4. I couldn't have done it with OIM before. And that was the key factor. Mm-hmm.
How many people did your team have to grow by in order to accomplish this?
So, thank you. My team today, I had between Active Directory, Beyond Trust, and Saviynt engineering, I have 29 people. With that, I have none of them know Saviynt, none of them. We had to retool them. We had to educate them. We had to look at each individual, what they're doing, and see where they fit. We made them go through training. We knew who's going to be our engineer and who's going to be the leaders. We had the professional services. Can I say who's my professional services? Okay, so we hired Saviynt to be our partner to do the migration over. And it was the guidance they provided and the oversight and the pitfall that we had to avoid that helped me and helped the team. So we are not under our CISO. That's a little bit different. We have our workforce, the HR version, the side of it is still with HR. From the support, from the identity itself, we sit under the CTO in VF. And we have, under the organization of the customer experience, you have the end user services, you have service desk, because everything ties to the user. So we had those towers, and then we have our identity space. In the identity space, we have it under Active Directory and Intra. You have beyond trust or privilege access. And then within the Saviynt or IAM, you have the directory governance, you have my operation, and now we're creating the engineering team, how we're going to divide and how we're going to ensure we have a segregation of duty, because that's one of the control I have to pass.
And GRC is separate?
GRC is separate, but once we bring it in, that's going to come under mine. Uh-oh.
You said that you were new to the industry. This was your first foray, if you will. So you had to make some gut calls on who you were going to trust in this new role. And in conjunction with that, you also had a highly complex environment that required some decentralization in your approach. How did you decide who you were going to trust in this new role? And being that you were in a decentralized environment, you're in charge of a goal that you now have to solicit to multiple business units. What was your process with both of those things?
Yeah, by the way, he was one of the vendor that helped us with the proof of concept and selecting a tool. Thank you. So it was very tough. We had quite a bit of other teams and other organizations that was interested in working with us. Selecting a tool and selecting the professional services to help us get to that side. VF always looks for somebody who's going to partner and be part of the family. We call the VF family, regardless if you are a brand or not. And that's what we were looking for. We wanted somebody who's going to come in and tell us, yeah, you're doing it's not everything good, what you're doing something wrong, and let me help you do it right. And that's what we find with Saviynt and with the professional services. Our internal business, it was a tough call. Like I said, our steerco and our leadership were very determined. This is the timeline. We had a kickoff call from our CDO, and it was determined, you're going to follow that lead, you're going to do the timeline. We have to do it. Did I answer your question?
I think we have time for one more. Anyone else have a question? If not, we have a question for you.
Okay, so we have a code for Vans custom, you build your own shoes. We talked about our brands. Can you name 3 brands other than Vans, DNA, the North Face, and Timberland? No. Not you. You're a walking billboard. Okay. Did you with the shirt? Did you say that? No. No. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, you're looking. No.
I mean, that's one way to get the answer.
Yeah, that's one way. Yeah. Go ahead.
I can name them all.
No, just name 3.
Jansport, Kipling, and Smartwool.
Okay, hold on. Thank you. So do you know where is Smartwool located, what they do? Come on. Okay, I'm going to leave that question to somebody else.
They make socks in the world.
Exactly. So just see me after, and I'll get you the code.
Hey, I wear Ultra shoes.
Amazing.
There you go.
So what is special about Ultra shoes? And you win the second one. Zero drop. Exactly. And I'm not a runner, but they love it. So, okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. And
Thanks.
Bashira, thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you for everything that you do and taking care of the brands that we love. Thanks, everyone.